Okay, so we're talking about excessive heat. We're going to start slowly with their body. We're just going to start with the rotation. With excessive heat can create a lot of swelling, especially if it's very humid where you're at, where you're living. Between the humidity, the damp heat, the dampness, and the heat can create a lot of inflammation, a lot of swelling in the body. So especially if you have arthritis or any kind of joint pain, this typical type of hot excessive heat can exasperate that. So just start slow with the rotation. Really feel the opening that you're creating with rotation. It's the simplest, gentlest way to start to get some movement in your body. Work on the knees if your knees are hurting. Tapping the knees all around the knees. We've got a lot of different meridians that run on the front of the knee, the back of the knee, the side of the knee. It's an intersection of a lot of different meridian points. So just by massaging your knees, the front, the back, and even tapping that whole area really helps with the joint pain if you have joint pain in the knee. And then, again, rotate. So, when you think of inflammation, we think of swelling, right? And we want to get the circulation going. So I was talking about the principle of Qigong is about creating a flow in our body, a openness. When we can free up congestion in the system, and that's also, we work with many different levels of congestion, not only our physical congestion, but our mental congestion. We're very busy in our mind, or if you're stressed out from something, that all causes inflammation, not just the heat. It's also our thoughts and emotions. So we think with our brain, we feel with our heart, we process through the stomach. And it's the simplicity of taking in, processing, and letting go. It's this process of inhaling, holding, processing, and then letting go, eliminating. Simple. It's 3 steps. And we're always in Qigong thinking of creating a flow state, opening up our vessel physically, this meat suit that we walk around with all the time, creating a openness in the physical body through movement. And then we create an openness in our brain, our thinking brain, through meditation, breathing, and then we process, and then we think of the foods that we eat. What are we eating? What are we processing? And it's this connection with that simplicity of taking in, processing, and letting go. Not clearing out our vessel all the time, as often as you can, thinking about clearing that vessel, clearing that congestion, creating a space internally to let that flow state happen. And then we start to cultivate, and then rotate your neck too. We start cultivating energy all around us. So everything is in the flow. When we're in the flow, we can have more vitality too. There's nothing impeding that flow. And then, of course, a lot of it's just recognizing when we're not in the flow. Let's do a little bit of shaking. So we have to, of course, in excessive heat, we're drinking probably more, which we should be doing, more clear fluids, if anything. But if we're not moving, then all that fluid's going to pool in the body, the extremities of your legs. And we don't want that to happen. We want to still get some circulation going, even though we don't feel like moving because it's so hot. We still want to get a little bit of movement. Now, shaking's probably, again, one of those things that you can do that's not excessive, that's easy on the body, and creates that circulation that we want to get going, so we can get all that water, that pool. So what happens? Water goes to its lowest part, heat rises. What's happening now, the heat is rising in your body. We have too much heat in the upper body, pulling down all that water in your lower extremities. If you notice people, I've been noticing it because everybody's wearing shorts now and sandals, the swelling in people's legs, like you just feel like if you prick it, it's going to explode. Even notice that in your own legs. I've noticed it with my legs. That's an indication you've got too much water in your lower extremities, and we need to switch that up, where we drop the heat down and we lift the water up. So we have we don't want to have excessive heat in the upper body, especially this is the heart season. I had mentioned about everything's timing. The heart is the organ that we work with this time of year. If it overheats, it creates heat stroke, it creates heart attacks. I was in excessive heat the other day and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was with my daughter. I said, I feel like I'm going to have a heart. It was so intense. So we want to watch that stuff. And our bodies will let us know. It will cue you in. If you see a lot of excessive swelling, if you're feeling pain in the heart or it can't breathe, those are indications something's happening. We need to stop it before it exasperates. So we're just doing this little bit of shaking, and let's just jump up and down a couple of times on the heels and just release, release. Release the gooiness, the stickiness, the congestion, just release it and then stop. Can you feel some vibration? That's your chi, that's your energy moving. Can you feel a little tingling? Are your hands pink? Are your feet warm? Is your mouth moist? If your mouth is dry, you're not circulating. If your hands are not pink, you're not circulating enough. So that's what we're starting to do. We're going to move a little bit more here, gently though. You don't need to swing too far up. Just that arms just come up to shoulder length, shoulder height. We're just bending the knees a little bit. We're moving, rocking forward and back on the feet. So we're activating our kidney point meridian. So what puts out fire? Water. So we're going to activate our kidneys because kidneys is the water element. It moves our fluids. So when we activate that kidney point, the wellspring point they call in Qigong is at the ball mount of your foot. That's the kidney number 1. And it's an easy one to activate by just moving forward and back on the feet. We're doing a little bit of swinging, again, getting a little bit more circulation. So we're going to activate the kidney as well as we're trying to put this fire out. Use your breath, inhale through the nose and just let it out through the mouth. You can also use, I have some fluid built up in my lungs, so I'm going to use inhale through my nose and it out. Because I don't want that fluid building up in my lungs. One more. And just bring it to a stillness. Let's do a little bit of tapping. Again, getting some more circulation. We'll start tapping the skin. I talked about the skin is the first layer of contact with the outside world, the outside with your atmosphere. And if you're overheated, you're probably sweating a lot, and that opens up the skin to allow pathogens to get in. So we want to keep the skin as healthy as we can, because it's your first line of defense from any kind of pathogens coming into the system. So typically, if the skin is not, if it's too sweaty or too cold in the winter, it opens like a window to pathogens. So we want to keep that really at bay, not having any pathogens entering the skin. And if it does, then we know our second line of defense is to get moving and to activate our meridian lines for certain organs. And these are the principles that we start to understand so we can use it to help self-care. So I'm going to do this again. We're going to come up the arm, which is your spleen meridian. So the spleen meridian is on the outside of the arm. It goes to the back of your shoulder. It wraps around the neck and it ends up the ear. So we're activating that spleen. We're tapping some of these lymph nodes also, which helps fight off infection. Under the armpit is your heart meridian 1, and then we follow that line down the inside of the arm. That is your heart meridian. So we'll do the other side, spleen, small intestine meridian to the back of the shoulder, around the breast tissue for your lymph nodes to activate the lymph nodes so they work and function. Under the armpits, heart meridian. So this also helps getting that heat, excessive heat out of the heart. Another thing we can do to get that excessive heat out of the heart is just bite the tip of your pinky finger. And you can do that a couple of times because that's your heart meridian point, and it could slow down some excessive heat in the heart. Now let's tap the chest. Again, we want to be careful of our lungs and excessive heat, build up of fluids. We don't want that to enter the body and exasperate to something more like pneumonia, things like that. So we don't typically think of the lungs in the summer. That's usually a winter or fall, but they're also, we have to be careful in this dampness, in this high humidity. And then let's tap all the way down to the groin area. So we're just activating our system. We're getting some circulation. Remember, I said we've got to circulate even when we're hot. We need to keep the circulation going, but gently. And then we're going to tap the hips. And then we're going to come to the kidneys. Talked about activating the kidneys. Let's just rub them. And you just go around in a circle, because we want to activate the water element, which is our kidneys, keeping them strong so they can help with this excessive heat. And then you slide down the backs of your legs, which is your bladder meridian. We'll go over the feet, and we're going to come on the inside of the legs for the kidney meridian. So let's do that again. Let's follow down the kidneys, down the backs of the legs, bladder, coming up the kidneys. We're going to do it again. Down the backs of the legs, activating this kidney meridian. So we activate our kidney water element to help put that fire out in our system. Now let's go down the legs. We'll go down the sides of the legs, and then we'll come up the front of the leg. So this is stomach and spleen meridian, which is also the two organs for late summer. So we're activating those meridians down the side of the leg and up the front of the leg. And then let's just tap and slap the groin area. Again, the lymph nodes. So they are activated and can flush out some of the toxins. And continue with your breath. You're inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. And then hold. And can you feel the chi circulating through your system? Do you feel congested in any sort of way? Let's just go from side to side like a bamboo in the wind and release. Again, finding that more fluid-like feeling in this movement helps to release any congestion or tightness that you might be feeling. You know, where do you feel the tightness? Where do you feel the congestion in your physical body? And then we'll release back to center. We're going to do twists. So knocking on the door of life. There's many ways of twisting the spine, but knocking on the door of life for this season, especially as I'm talking about the kidneys, we're activating those kidneys again. You always want to activate the kidneys. You never sedate the kidneys. The other organs we can sedate, we can control and sedate, like the heart. We want to sedate the heart because it's high fire season. We don't want to have an active, overactivated heart, overinflamed heart. So we can sedate the heart, but the kidneys we're not sedating, we're activating because we need the wellspring to start pumping and start working to start cooling our system off. So we're also getting a nice twist here as well as we're activating, knocking on the door of life, which is their kidneys, and then you can also knock on your lungs again, which the dampness can affect your lungs. We want to be careful of that. We're working those two organs, lungs and kidneys, to help with this, again, this excessive heat. So I'm feeling some movement in my congestion. It's starting to break up a little bit. I can feel it in my throat. And we're also twisting the spine. Really good for low back pain. Twisting is really nice to do for any kind of congestion in the low back. And then we'll slowly bring it to stillness. And can you feel the chi swirling in your body, clearing out this vessel? We're going to do spinal cord breathing. This will bring our body, our spine back and forth. Every way and every day, move the spine in its 4 flexions. So we bring the back, the sides of our arms, the sides of our hands, kind of make like a little fist with the hands. And then as we inhale, we're going to open up into a little bit of a back bend, just a little bit. Start small, and then we come forward as you exhale. You inhale as you come up, a little bit of a back bend. As you exhale, you're rounding forward. Inhaling, a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, and you can stop at different points. Like if your back seems tight or your neck seems tight, open up the back of the spine by this, it's a cat toe. You're tucking in the tailbone, you're tucking in your chin, and then you slowly come up into a little bit of a back bend. Then maybe hold it here a little bit until the back can adjust itself and settle into these 2 movements. As you exhale, you come forward into your forward fold, settle into it, feeling the stretch here, and breathe deep. Use that breath. That breath is going to move your body and open it up. You need that oxygen to come into the cells to repair them, restore them, to get that vitality going. And we just go back and forth in the spinal cord breathing. As you inhale, we're opening up into our back flexion, so the front of the body's opening. The whole chest is opening here. The lungs are opening. The diaphragm is opening. And then as you round forward, you're opening up the back of the spine, the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders, the mid-back, the low back. And you can take this even deeper if you're feeling better, or you want to go deeper, and you bend the knees and you make the movement a little bit bigger. You don't have to, though. Do what feels good on your spine. Spinal cord breathing. Breathing in as you open up. You breathe out as you close in. So we inhale, open up the system. As you exhale, you release. Remember, it's all about bringing in, processing, and letting go. So we inhale, we take in, we exhale, we let go. Inhale and exhale. Fluid-like motion, feeling that rhythm of the breath with the rhythm of the movement. Work at your own pace here as you go back and forth into our spinal cord breathing. And then release the arms, maybe shake them out a little bit. Now we're going to do some side stretching. So the left arm is going to be down. The right arm is up. So when we come into our next season, late summer, it's spleen and stomach. The spleen removes the fluid from the food, and then it processes it. So we have this process of the spleen going up and down. The movement is up and down. And the meridian lines are from the feet up to the arms. You'll see that when I show you the diagrams of that. But for now, we're working, just think of these lines of the spleen and the stomach, and we're just reaching up and pushing down, reaching up and pushing down. Engage those abdominals, though. You want to always engage your abdominals. The abdominals are this middle section that holds your top body to your lower body. So we have this upper body and lower body, and then the abdominals are right in the center. And that's where we want to really strengthen the core of our body. You hear that often, strengthen your core. So continue that as I kind of show you. So we have these muscles that the abdominals wrap in like a girdle, and then we have them, they go up and down. Those muscles go up and down. So we want to keep the core here really nice and strong at all times without holding your breath. A lot of times we hold our breath while we're trying to engage our core. So now the left arm is down, the right arm is up. And then we're engaging those abdominals, dynamic standing, as we lean over to our left. Now you can bend your right knee a little bit, and that'll take you a little bit deeper in this stretch, deeply feeling the stretch in the side of your body. Now bring your left hand to the side of your right ribs. We have these also, again, muscles in between your rib cage, in between each rib. They're intercostal muscles that get tight and gooey and sticky, preventing us from breathing fully into the side of our body. So we're opening this. You want to feel the breath moving into your hand here. Try to get some movement in those intercostal muscles. You might notice that they're not moving at all. And then we switch sides. Right arm is down, left arm is up. We lean over to our right. Bend your left knee to go a little bit deeper with this stretch. We're going to hold this here. You can also bring your hand to the ribs. Breathe into the side of your ribs, into those intercostal muscles. Trying to awaken the dormancy of these muscles of the rib. The rib cage is more of a cartilage material. And then you have the muscles in between these cartilages. If they're tight and sticky, you're not going to get the full expansion of breath. So that's what we're concentrating on. And we'll release down. Interlace the fingers. You're going to press the palms down. Engage those abdominals. Tuck the tailbone under. Pressing down from the tops of the shoulders down through the palms of the hands. And then we're going to bring the hands right in front of us. And we bend the knees, we round the spine, and you keep pushing the palms of the hands forward as you open up the back of your spine here, also through the shoulder blades, through the palms of the hands. And then slowly come all the way back up to standing. Root down through the legs, lengthen up all the way onto the toes. Stretch your toes, drop the heels. Let's do this again. Stretch the toes, all those ligaments in the foot. Drop the heels over to your left side, stretching the side of the ribs. You know that breathing action in the side. Try to awaken that dormancy in the side of your ribs. You can also rest your head on the arm if that feels comfortable. You can also kind of move around a little bit here with the torso, maybe forward and back a little bit stirred up. Back to center, onto the toes, drop the heels, over to the other side. Drop the head, rest the head. Breathe into the side of your ribs. If you want to use that little action forward and back, go ahead. And then we release. And then release the arms. Shake them out a little bit. Let's separate the feet a bit. Out to the side with the palms, with the fingers, really stretch through the fingers, and then come onto the toes and stretch here. Stretch that fascia, that web-like material, especially in the back of the body, and then release. We're going to do this again. Stretch out and release. We're going to bend our knees and bring our hands or your elbows on your thighs. We're just going to drop forward here. You can hold on to your elbows, soft knees here though. We're not coming into a full forward fold with straight legs. We're just dropping forward. If you want, keep your elbows on your knees and drop the head, shake it out. Starting to open up the back body slowly. Breathe into the back of your body. Can you feel it? If you can bring one hand to the back and see if you can feel movement in your back. And now from here, we're going to take soft knees still. You're going to take your arms forward. You're leaning forward here. Then from here, you move the sit bones back, straightening your arms. Your head is even with your arms, and you're stretching through the hands, the arms, the back, and the legs all at the same time. Soft knees, though. Keep it all soft. Breathe deep and full because the breath will expand your body. When you breathe deep, it expands your body to release any tightness or any congestion. Remember, we're trying to open up our vessel so the chi can flow freely through it. Now you're going to take your hands back to the center and take your hands behind you and drop the head and the neck. You can even place the backs of your hands on the floor if that feels comfortable. I don't know if you can see me doing that, but I have my hands like this behind me and just drop forward. Soft knees. Find your breath. Shake it out. Elbows on thighs. We're going to arch the back into our dog tilt. Round into your cat tilt. Again, inhale, dog tilt. Exhale, cat tilt. Now it's still soft knees. We're taking the palms of the hands to the floor, or you can bring your knuckles, or you can come onto your fingertips. You're going to place your right hand in the center, and then we inhale as we reach that left arm all the way up into a spinal twist. And then we let go. Bring that left hand to the center. Inhale, the right arm comes all the way up for your spinal twist. And then release. Shake it out again. Hands or elbows on the thighs. Arch the back. And then slowly curl up one vertebrae at a time. The head and the neck is the last thing that arrives. Bring the hands to your low back. Bring the hips forward a little bit to balance out that forward fold. If you're doing a lot of forward bends, you want to balance it out with a back bend. And then come back to center. Let's do a side stretch from here again. Arms out to the side. And we lean over to the side for that side stretch. And then back over to the other side. And back. Bring the legs back together. We're gonna work on the shoulders a little bit. And remember, engage those abdominals, roll the sides of the abdominals in. We lengthen the abdominals up and down, and the intercostal muscles are nice and open from our breathing. We're going to give ourselves a hug. So the left arm is going to be over the right shoulder, and then we take the right hand on the left shoulder, and then just give yourself a hug here. You can also do circles with the elbows and go in the other direction. And then just hold here, drop your chin to your chest, and then do a neck rotation. You can also do a side bend too here. Release, stretch out, and place down. Then taking your left arm on your right shoulder and others, or did I do that already? Can't remember now. Well, whatever arm you were on, just bring it to the other side. And then we do the same thing. So we can do a little rotation here with the elbows. Take it to the other direction. Drop the chin to the chest, neck rotation. And release. Now we're going to come into a complete forward fold. Engage again, abdominals. Start to slide your hands to your thighs. You're going to bend the thighs, arch the back into your dogtail. And then I do it from the side. And then round the spine. And then we slowly start to come forward. Now, it depends on your flexibility. The legs can be straight with just a slight bend. Or again, if you're having any low back discomfort, bend those knees pretty strongly and come into the forward fold. You can also maybe bend one knee at a time here, and you'll feel that a little bit deeper in the legs. And then bend the knees again, arch the back, round the spine. We're slowly going to come up and stretch all the way up and then release. Let's work on, we didn't work on the legs here. So let's separate the legs fairly wide. Slowly release down to the floor again. And then once you're here, then bending one knee at a time, working on your inner thighs and your outer legs. So we're doing a lot of stretching this morning because as I said, we've got the heat that helps to, stretch a little bit deeper. So that's the one thing we can do in the heat is stretch slowly rather than going out and doing a very heavy active exercise. Maybe think of more of stretching in the heat rather than moving the body excessively. And then again, slowly curl up as we come all the way back to standing. Let's take the legs back in, shake everything out again. Maybe sway from side to side, or rotation might feel good. Again, where do you feel the little bit of twinge of congestion? Go to that area and move it around with some softness, a little bit more fluidity. Think of the water element. Think of something more fluid than static. Legs are hip-width apart, and we soften the knees, and we're going to start rocking forward and back on the feet. So we're activating that kidney meridian again, the ball mat of the foot. We start slow, and then we start to make the movement a little bit bigger. So we're activating the kidney meridian doing this. We're also, again, pumping our lymphatics, fluid, and circulating. So there's a lot of different things going on here as we're doing this slight little movement back and forth. And then we start to add to it. On your next inhalation, we're like you're lifting up cool water. It slides down your hands and you shift into the heels. We're inhaling cool blue-like water and then shift into the heels. So we're activating some of this chi, moving forward on the ball mounts, and then you shift and you settle into the heels. Now we're going to activate our chi ball. We're going to start to opening up controlling our heating system and cooling system. So briskly rubbing the palms together, briskly rubbing your knuckles together, and briskly rubbing your nails together. And now you should have a lot of pinkness in the hands and a lot of electricity between the hands as well. If you don't, then do a little bit more activating. You really want to get that charged. Now we're going to use this activation to breathe deeper, and also we use it to move the energy. But feel that electricity between the palms. My hands are nice and pink. I have a lot of moisture in my mouth. My feet are warm, so I know that I've got some good circulation going. Now, in my next inhalation, we're going to expand this chi ball, and you lean forward on the ball mounts of the feet, activating that kidney meridian. As you exhale, you compress that energy ball. You shift into the heels. We inhale. We're expanding our body with this breath, this life force, the taking in. We process, and then we exhale, and we compress. We shift into the heels, and we compress that air out. We inhale, full, deep, slow breaths, expanding the breath and expanding your body with this breath. The whole body's breathing. As you exhale, we're compressing, we're shifting, we're letting go. It's that exchange of inviting in and inviting it out. We inhale, full deep breath. We're growing, we're expanding, we're blooming into this energy bubble. And as you exhale, you compress. You compress the air out. You let the staleness out, the gooiness out. We inhale. We're expanding our body with this breath. This will release any congestion that you might be feeling or discomfort. And as you exhale, we compress. We compress it all out. We take this highly charged ball, energy ball, and we start to bring it up and over our head, taking this blue cool light up and over the head. As you exhale, you're dropping the heat from your upper body, getting that heat out of the upper body. As we inhale this time, bring the tongue to the roof of your mouth and bring this cool, like fluid water over the head, down the heart, cooling your upper body, getting that heat out and bringing it down. We're turning on our AC. Inhale, tongue to the roof of the mouth. Bring the cool blue light over the head, down the front of the body, down the heart, cooling the heart. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Again, tongue to the roof of the mouth and bring this cool blue light over your head, cooling the heat out of the head. You don't want a hot head. It'll blow out, and then take the heat from your chest, from the heart especially, take that heat out. And this time we start to take the hands to the back of the kidneys, down the backs of the legs. Once again, the inside of the legs, we start to come up, bringing that coolness up, all the way up over the head. And then exhale, release the heat down. We're going to do one more all the way to the back, down the backs of the legs, and then up the inside of the legs. And we rest. Hold the belly and just take a moment to rest, settle in, adjusting your system, your cooling, heating system down. And then we're going to step the right leg out to the side. The pinky fingers are touching each other, activating your heart and small intestines. As we inhale, we bend the knees and we scoop up the earth energy, the earth, the coolness of that earth. We process it. We let go. Backs of the hands touch and we glide down. We let go here. And in that letting go, we start to find our balance. We start to find our center And then we're able to return back to our center, to our home. As we inhale, we step out. We gather that earth energy or water-like energy, and then we wash it down. We let go as we exhale. So there's that letting go again. In this process, we're able to find a little bit more balance of that heat and the coolness in our body as we return back to center. We inhale, we step out, and we gather that cool earth, that moss-like feeling below your feet. And we let go of that heat. We take that heat, that inflammation, and we let it go. And in that letting go, we're light and buoyant. We can find our balance and we can return to our center. We step out and we inhale the earth cool energy. We wash it over us. We cool the system down. We exhale and we let go. This process of inhaling and exhaling to help balance out our system. And then we can return to our center, our balance. And then we inhale again. We gather that cool earth. And we release that heavy inflammatory heat down back into the ground. We return with more balance. And we return back to our center. Take a moment just to notice how you feel. We're going to gather again. We gather the earth. We gather above us, all around us. Palms of the hands come together. We center all this energy at our heart because we've cooled the upper body. We've cooled our heart. Now we can unlock that heart energy. We can unlock the joy, spreading the joy out, or releasing, if you have more heat, releasing that heat again. And we'll do it one more time. We gather all around that energy that's free, that we cultivate. It's cultivating contentment out of thin air. We return, we unlock the heart, that organ that's very charged this time of year. We cool it off. We spread the energy out and wide, and we return back to our center. Bringing the hands into our lotus flower, as we use this as a symbol of our inner bloom, our inner vitality, cultivating this inner vitality. Set an intention for your day, for your weekend coming up. I invite into my life, maybe it's coolness. Maybe it's that softness, that returning to a balanced state. And then closing the bloom. We return to where we started, back in our seat, so we can integrate this practice. So we have a little pause before we step into our day, pausing for a moment, just noticing again of how you're feeling in your breath and in your body, your emotional state, settling in. Settling in. We'll end with 3 rounds of Om to create a higher vibration within ourselves, within the community, within the world. It also helps to create a higher vibration in your system by just chanting. The sound of Om means peace. And we'll begin inhaling. Inhaling when you're ready. And that inner vibration also breaks up any congestion. Inhaling. Settle the waters, settle your mind, settle your body. As we bring the palms of the hands together, letting this practice bring for you whatever you need. And when you're ready, begin to slowly open your